Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is the start of a new reading vlog. I took most of February off from filming these for some reason. I was still reading, I just really didn't feel like talking about it. I don't know why I go through these phases, but it happens. So I have updates on what I am reading, what I'm about to start, but I also have some things to open. The first thing being I got a package from Sourcebooks Casablanca, which I think I have another one coming because there were actual titles that I requested from them that I don't know like what got approved and what didn't, so I think I have another package coming from them. And then this one just showed up out of the blue and I was very excited. So the two titles that were in that package were these two. So there is Like Cats and Dogs by Kate McMurray, which looks right up my alley, and this is an ARC. This comes out on May 4th. It's been a while since I've gotten ARCs, and I have some more to talk about in this video. I'm slowly getting back into like critically reading instead of just like binging everything in like one go. And the other one is the new Zio Axelrod book, which I'm so excited for. This is The Girl with Stars in Her Eyes. Oh, I just saw that there's a bookmark in here. That's fun. Oh, it's a ticket. That's cute. It says, A Star is Born meets Daisy Jones and the Six by way of Colleen Hoover. That's the blurb for this. That sounds amazing. So, thank you to Sourcebooks for sending that my way. I've got this to open. This is the latest surprise box from Hello Lovely, which I haven't opened yet, so I need to get some scissors and I will cut this puppy open. So this one is a bizarre shape. It's very square. I'm assuming there's like a mug or a candle or something based on like the size of the package, because normally they come in like envelopes and it's all nice and contained. This is like its own separate thing and I have no idea. I haven't seen any of the sneak peeks for this whatsoever, so I'm very intrigued. What do we think? It's a peach. It's not a butt, okay? But this was looking at me. It says just peachy, and it's a peach. It's not a butthole. It's a peach, and this is a squishy. Oh, hey Cricket, what's up? This is like a squishy stress ball, and I love it. I love it. Peach is my favorite scent and flavor of anything. Like, given the choice of like any flavors, I'm always gonna pick peach. So that's cute. It's not a butthole. Okay. We have this. I'm assuming this is where the chapstick and the ebook downloads are. And then we have this. What? This is looking more candle shaped now that I have it out of the package. Let's see what this is before we get to the books. Okay. We got down to a jar. This is Romancing My Shelf, Bourbon Nights, and oh, she stole my butt. Hold on. Okay, this is what life with cats is like. Anyway, this is a candle from Whiskey Velvet Candle Co. So Bourbon Nights and Lip Bites is what the scent is, apparently, and ooh, I had no idea what direction this was going. It smells like vanilla and bourbon. Ooh. Oh, that's a good scent. I didn't think I would like that because bourbon is one of those scents that can be really heavy. This is amazing. Also, this is like the cutest shaped jar. It's adorable. It's like squat and adorable. This is 100% hand-poured soy candle. Okay, so those are the two items. And then let's get to this little package. Okay, we have more stuff in here than I thought. Okay, we have this. I can't see anything, but we have a face mask. What does it say? Okay, this has Dreaming of Sexy Books, and it has little fruits on it. It has an eggplant, and a peach, and cherries, and a carrot, and pineapple. Those are all questionable vegetables and fruit. Okay, so we have a little face mask. That's adorable. The chapstick this month is Girl Crush, Soft Lips and Cherry Kisses. So I'm assuming Soft Lips was the... Rude! She keeps stealing my peach. The Soft Lips, I think, was like the vanilla part of the candle, so I'm wondering if this is cherry and vanilla. Oh, it totally is. That's like a real cherry scent. It's not like fake cherry scent / flavor. It smells like actual cherries. Ooh, that smells nice. Okay, we have that. The peach is just on the floor. We have a vinyl sticker that says, Proud Sexy Romance Reader, we like our books hot AF. And look at our fancy chick. I like that she's starting to do these like silhouette designs. It's awesome. Big fan. So this is a vinyl sticker. And then, it's a Katie Robert book. We have the two ebook downloads. This is Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert. Ooh, I feel like this is gonna be a taboo book, a touch of taboo novel. I'm assuming this is a age gap forbidden romance. And then we also have Hate Fuck, the complete story by Ainsley Booth. They can't stand each other, but there's a fine line between love and hate, and that line is X-rated. Wha-bam! So both of these have ebook download codes on them, so you can download them straight to your Kindle or your phone or whatever you want to do with them. We've got some sassy titles this month. Okay. That's the haul portion of this video. I've already talked for like 7 minutes. Wow. Okay, let's talk about books that I am currently reading and what I plan to start as of today. So, the book that I'm currently working on is Binding Shadows by Jasmine Silvera, and I am digging this. There's not much romance, but the tension is a brewin'. This is a werewolf shifter who is a professor at a college and a kind of witch. Like, our heroine is a girl who has the power to essentially find things, and so she works in this library system, and she's really good at finding like manuscripts and books that are needed, but this power has to be hidden, and it's the same campus that our werewolf shifter professor Sir works at. And they basically have just kind of started meeting and started like feeling things for each other, but like it's a workplace, so they have to restrain themselves. So I am about a third of the way into this and I'm digging it so far. Okay, my battery died. Are we back? I feel like I'm crooked now. I don't know. Regardless, today is Friday the 2nd, and today starts the read-along of From Blood and Ash, which I'm very excited. My friend Abby is hosting a read-along over on Instagram for this, and I'm joining in just because I also talk to her every day, all day at this point, so we might as well read together. So we are reading, I think, the first 5 chapters. I'm probably going to end up doing what I do with my book club, where I stick to the reading schedule for the first 2 or 3 days, where I only read that scheduled section, and then I binge the rest. And that is likely what's going to happen because we're doing this one and the second one in preparation for the 3rd book releasing. So I'm starting that today, but today Mariana Zapata pulled a Beyonce and just dropped a book out of nowhere. So she had a new title that showed up on Goodreads a couple weeks ago called All Roads Lead Here, I think. And I have personally just been going through her backlist. I only have, I think, 3 titles left of hers to read. And I always save her books for when I'm feeling slumpy because she's one of my favorite authors, and every single one of her books I binge straight through. Like, her books are hefty. They are all like 600 pages long and the slowest of slow burn romances, but I eat them up. Like, I've read every one of her books in one day. I don't know how I do it. Every single time, though. Her writing is just so addicting, so I save it for when I'm feeling slumpy, which I have been recently. So I had like 4 or 5 titles left of hers, so I recently just listened to 2 of them. And I was looking through Goodreads to figure out what ones I had left, and this new one just showed up. And it was supposed to be published in March of 2021, which was 3 days ago. Like, it is now April, and the book didn't show up yet. And I was like, what's happening? And from the description, it's a small town romance, which I don't think she's ever done, and I am so freaking excited. So I woke up today and saw in her, like, fan Facebook group the link for the download. So I have that. Just sitting on my Kindle, and I am so freaking excited. It's here. It's right here. So my goal was to film a bunch of videos today and then reward myself by reading this. So far, I think I'm just gonna read it. I'm gonna read the first 5 chapters of From Blood and Ash, and then I'm just gonna read Zapata for the rest of the night, and I am so excited! So those are my plans as of right now. This is a very lengthy check-in for a vlog, but it is what it is. Alright, it is significantly later than the last check-in, as per usual for these reading vlogs, but I want to start another reading vlog, so I need to end this one at some point. So let me catch you up with what I have read since the last one. It's not much, but I have a lot of things to say. So this is probably going to be a lengthy video, as per normal. Okay, let's see. Updates with what I have read, what I am reading. I have not made any more progress in this because I started other things. Thus is my life. So I'm still a third of the way in. It's a rainy day. I've got a couple hours before work. I might sit down and, like, finish this out today. I don't know what I'm in the mood for. Who knows? But that was mainly because I generally have like one physical book, one ebook, and one audiobook going at all times because that's what my brain likes. And for some reason, I really felt like picking up this book because I was feeling very uninspired recently, and books like this are the kick in the butt that I need to like do things to feel better about myself. So this is a book that I got a long time ago, and I was so excited over it, and I really wanted a nonfiction or somewhat like inspirational, self-helpy type of book to like get me out of a funk recently. So I went to my nonfiction shelf, which is like down in this range, and I forgot that I had this. So this is Craftfulness, Mend Yourself by Making Things by Rosemary Davidson and Arzu Tazin. This is a cool little book that basically talks about the act of making things with your hands, like tangible crafting items, and how therapeutic that is. For some reason, the psychology behind, I don't know how to describe this. The other book that I'm thinking of in relation to this is called The Nature Fix, and it's a book about how going out into nature has psychological benefits to you, where like, even if like it's only for 10 minutes a day, going out into the real world, breathing fresh air, being surrounded by greenery has like outstanding, scientifically proven mental benefits. And this book is kind of similar in that some people do that for self-care, some people like will take a nap, some people will listen to music. A lot of people making things is very therapeutic to them. It's very good with anxiety because it gets your brain focusing on something that your hands are doing and out of your head. Having something physical to touch with your hands kind of brings you back to your childhood of like making something that you can hold and feel. And it's basically an entire book of like kind of essays. It's broken down into chapters about how that entire concept that I just described on how crafting and creativity and making things acts as a therapy for a lot of people, and how for some reason just the act of making something, not necessarily like creating a finished product, but the actual physical act of doing something with your hands works wonders for a lot of people, myself included. So this was just a cool little book. I'm just kind of reading it in bits and pieces. Like I'm not actually sitting down and reading straight through. So I'm only on chapter 1, but it's broken down into a lot of parts. So I'm loving this. So this became my physical book that I had just been picking up and putting down. My ebook shifted. Okay, so I have the ebook of All Roads Lead Here, which I'm dying over. But then I also just pre-ordered the paperback for it. The paperbacks became available on her website, and I ordered a signed copy, and I'm so excited for it. So I have a feeling I might save that one to read as a physical copy, because I feel like I appreciate books more when I'm holding them. I don't know why. That's just my brain. So my ebook read became, I'm so excited over this, the new Lyssa Kay Adams book. I got approved for the arc of Isn't It Bromantic, and I am so excited. So I am about 10% into that. There she blows. So I am so excited. This is the Russian story, which is one that I think everybody who loves the series has been waiting for. And it is so far really good because the Russian is a character that has always been like a comedic relief side character where his only role in a lot of the scenes that he's in is to just provide a one-liner or a funny scene to kind of break the tension of what's happening. And I love characters like that when they get their own spin-off or their own story because they become this three-dimensional character. Like, they get fleshed out and they're no longer just this weird side character who's just there to, like, lighten the mood. So he actually has this whole backstory with, like, his wife and everything, and it is so good. So that is my ebook that I'm working on currently, and I am loving it so much. I love this entire series. I feel like there's yet to be one that hasn't been amazing. This is a series that I know it gets a lot of hype, but I just constantly want people to read it because I feel like it's exactly what I want to promote as far as romance books, where it's a group of guys who are reading romance books to learn how to better themselves in relationships. And I was like, why isn't that a real thing? Like, I am tempted to give the first book to my husband to be like, learn how to woo me again. So I love this series, so I'm thoroughly enjoying that. Okay, let's get to books that I've read because I'm already talking way too much. Let me go back to Goodreads because I have finished stuff. Okay, Ooh, I'm gonna go for a rant. Who's excited? Buckle up. So, I read my first Avery Flynn book. This is an author that I've always wanted to read, and I think I picked the worst one. This was a book that was recommended to me years ago, and I think I probably would have liked it years ago, or liked it a little more. It hasn't aged well. And that book is Butterface. So, this is a series that I feel like had good intentions and did not follow through with them. So, the first book in the series is called Butterface, and then I believe it's Muffin Top and Tomboy. So you can kind of see what the series is going to be. It's basically, I feel like the intention of the series was to take romance main characters that are not the stereotypical pretty girl, and turn them into, like, the heroine of a romance story, which I was all for. I was so excited for that. The title's slightly offensive at this point in time. Maybe they would have been funnier back in the day. But this basically follows a girl who is a butterface. So she is physically attractive except for her face, which I have qualms with that. And it's an entire story of her basically falling in love with this really hot cop, and there's this whole, like, underlying story of, like, her family being involved in, like, a mob situation, and it's a whole thing. Oh man, okay, how do I rein this in to not just sit here and vent for a while? I wanted this to be the type of story where it was a girl who had low confidence in herself and found her worth. And it could have been that. It essentially was that, but she found her worth because a hot guy found her attractive, which is something I have a huge qualm with. I just really don't get down with the only redeeming thing about a woman is when a guy approves of her. I hate that. And I feel like we've come so far in the romance world from that point of, like, needing the justification or needing the affirmation of a guy's approval to find your self-worth. It's icky. I hate it. I actually technically DNF'd this book at, like, 95% because if she had gone on this journey where, like, she started out low self-esteem, low body image issues, and worked up to the fact that, like, maybe she needed the boost of a hot guy finding her attractive to help her on this journey, but it became only that. And even by the end, she still was calling herself ugly. Like, it was still constantly in her face that she still thought she was unworthy and still thought she was ugly. And I'm just like, bitch! One star? Didn't like it, will not be continuing on, because if that's how the series is going to go, the next one is clearly, Muffin Top is clearly going to be a plus-size main character who finds her worth because a guy tells her she's pretty. And then Tomboy, don't even get me started, because I guess I'm technically what you would call a tomboy. I'm not the girliest of girls. But if a guy tells her she's fine, then it's cool. Ooh, man, okay, rein it in. Bring it down a couple notches. So that's my rant of the video. Let's redeem it by talking about books that I am obsessed with. So, I just read Make It Sweet by Kristen Callahan. This is a new favorite author of mine because I already have a secondary update to talk to you about in a second. Make It Sweet is a book that I just spontaneously buddy read with a friend of mine, and we are obsessed with it. It was so good. I didn't realize that it just released recently, like I just picked it up because it sounded good. This follows, it gave me very slight spoiler alert by Olivia Dade vibes at the very beginning. Our heroine in this book is a woman who is a star of essentially what is like a Game of Thrones type of show, and she finds out that she's being killed off from the show and doesn't know what to do with her life from this point on. Like, she doesn't really lose self-worth while we're on that topic, but she basically is kind of in this in-between stage. She didn't see it coming and now has to, like, figure out what she wants to do next. So she takes, like, a mini vacation to a, like, small country, I don't know how to, it's an estate. There's, like, a lot of buildings on this property, but it's, like, a small country place that she wants to just kind of, like, lay low and regroup for a little bit. But this estate is owned by a wonderful old lady who I adore, who is one of my favorite characters, but her grandson is the love interest of this book. And he is an athlete who, actually touched on really interesting things in this book. He is a hockey player who got really, really badly injured and is coming to terms with the fact that his career is over, so that's like a similar bonding thing, but also over the fact that he has permanent physical issues. Like, he has way too many concussions going on to ever be able to risk playing again, and he's having to deal with the fact that his entire identity has kind of been taken away from him because all he's been known for is his hockey career. And he is grumpy. If you like grumpy main characters who, like, have a heart of gold, this is a new book for you. It was so good. And also this man bakes. So that's a whole thing that I didn't know I was into. I love when food is brought into books, and he is a, like, professional baker, and it is astounding. But their relationship was so real and authentic and paced so well. It was so good. And I basically adore books when both characters are going through something and it feels even. Like, it doesn't feel like one is overshadowing the other. And it's one of those books where you see this really tough, gruff, cranky, athletic dude break down and, like, really have to deal with his own emotions. And it was so good. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that leads me to the fact that I then picked up Dear Enemy by Kristen Callahan, and I realized that I read these backwards. These are both standalone contemporary romances, but this one came out technically like a year ago, and it has characters that we see and make it sweet. So this is a different book that I just read last night. I'm going out of order with the books that I've been reading. But this is a book that I literally binged the entire thing last night, and it follows essentially a second chance romance with forced proximity. It was great tropes. This follows a girl who has a rocky relationship with her sister, and her sister's on and off again boyfriend from their childhood is, like, her enemy. Like, he is such a jerk to her when they were kids, but she has always kind of had feelings for him. So we see, like, the little prologue of them as, like, teenagers, and then the whole story is them much later in life when they are forced back together because her sister is the worst, and she ends up working for him as a personal assistant, and it is so good. It's another story where both characters are both dealing with things in their lives that are hard, but one doesn't overshadow the other, and I feel like it's a very well-balanced story between, like, emotional healing and the romance. Like, the sexual tension is great. Her books are, I'm learning, slightly more slow burn than I think a lot of people would prefer. As somebody who obviously loves Zapata, I love a slow burn, so I love seeing the tension building and, like, culminating. Oh, so good. So, thoroughly recommend those 2 books. They were great. The next book that I picked up is The Stopover by T.L. Swan. And I only picked this up because the podcast that I listened to just did an episode on book 2 of the series, and both of them were available to listen to for free, so I downloaded and listened to this one. We're gonna go on a rant again. Buckle in. I feel like this book would really appeal to fans of Penelope Douglas, L.J. Shen, Kristen Becker Ritchie, because it's very angsty, it is very dramatic, and sometimes you just need that in your life. This was not one of those times, unfortunately for me. It didn't mesh well with me. So this basically starts on a plane where a woman gets upgraded to first class, and the guy who's in the seat next to her and her basically just start talking and hitting it off and really getting into each other. They're day drinking, they start telling each other a lot, and she ends up having to have a stopover in Boston because of a winter storm that prevented them from going to New York City where she was supposed to get off. So they spend a night together at a hotel and have crazy rough, awesome sex that is mind-blowing to her. And then she never hears from him again. It is a one-night stand to its fullest. Fast forward a couple years, and she ends up getting hired at this media agency that she is so excited for. He owns it. So it kind of turns into that business workplace type of romance where he is also the CEO, a billionaire. If you're into that thing, this might be a book for you. And it is their relationship. And my issue with this book was I'm not a huge fan of romances that are just on again, off again, on again, off again, where they are just constantly finding issues to fight over, and both characters are equally as immature and toxic in the relationship. Some people eat that up. Some people love stories like that just because it's so angsty and it's so drama-filled and it keeps you on the edge of your seat. And this book is that to the best of its abilities, and I feel like I still thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a long book, and I still read the whole thing. I still enjoyed the whole thing, but I rolled my eyes a lot. Like, there are so many scenes of just them going back and forth at each other that is so unhealthy. And I think I've just reached a point in my life where when I'm reading a romance book, I want it to be like a happily ever after where you were just rooting for them the whole time. But when the obstacle that's keeping them apart is each other, that's automatically a red flag to me. So it read really well. It was thoroughly enjoyable. I just hated the two characters. They were both so immature and so toxic and abusive to each other. But if you're into that shit, man, check this out, because it was angsty, it was dramatic, it was a lot. So I do want to pick up the second book, because I think it follows Tristan, who is a slightly more mature character that we got to meet in that book, and I'm excited. I hope it's better than the first, because the writing is there. The writing's there. The characters were just not for me, and I know that's hard to separate, but that's where I am. That's where I'm going to cut off this vlog. This is already a very long, ranty video, and I'm going to pick up a new reading vlog starting literally today. So next check-in, you guys will see I'll have picked up from right now. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video.